SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
This show is presented by Manscaped. Sign up for 20% off manscaped.com using the code DANGLE. It's announcement day, and Steve could not be here because Leo brought something pretty nasty home from daycare, I guess. You guys aren't feeling very good.
Man, I don't know if it was him or something we ate or not good, but I wouldn't miss this for the world. I would do it from the hospital if I had to. I don't care. I am not missing this announcement that we have teased for no less than 6 months.
I know. This is the SDPN is expanding, and we are super excited about this. And coming on to talk about it is the one and only Jayna Hefford. Woo! Jayna, welcome to the show. I think it's a first time. It's so nice to have you on here.
It's the first time. I'm pretty excited.
So, listen, this is something that we've been working on for a few months now. Very, very excited to announce. Do you want to take this one, or should we? What do you want to do here?
You guys line it up, and I'll give my thoughts.
I'll read directly from the press release that came out half an hour ago as of you watching this recording, everybody. The SDPN and the Professional Women's Hockey Players Association, PWHPA, today announce a joint production of a all-new women's hockey podcast titled Knoxy Kax, the Knoxy Kax Show, hosted by Liz Knox and Karel and Marn, which we're very excited. I'm going to make you all clap again. Clap. Everybody clap. Woo! Come on. So this is something that, we've had sort of cooking for a while, Jayna. And, one of the things that I think when I called you out of the blue and said, hey, can we do something like this? And would you partner with us on this? It was about the viewpoint had to be different, right? We wanted to make sure that we had the opportunity for women's hockey to tell its story. But all too often, and Jayna, you would know this, when women are interviewed about women's hockey, they feel like they have to speak for the entire sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's what makes this a little bit different. I think anytime we as the PWHPA partner with anyone, it really has to match our values, our ideals, the way we see the game and our place in the game. And immediately, talking to you, Adam, it became very clear that this was about fun. It was about the sport. It was about the personalities. It was about the good news stories. And, we may talk about this in a bit, but there's a heaviness to what we do. There's a constant talk about the fight for equality and the challenges we face and the adversity of being a female athlete. And all of that stuff is real, and I'm sure it'll be addressed, but it can be heavy on a constant basis. And I think there's so many fans out there, women and men, that would love to get to know some of the female players, that would love to hear a female perspective breaking down the game. And we have so many fantastic personalities in our sport, and we have just as many good stories to go along with the game as we see in the men's side and we hear. And so we're just super excited to have a really fun time talking hockey, working with you guys who do such a great job of that, and really allowing people to get to know some of the greatest athletes in our sport and some of the biggest personalities.
And you nailed it right off the bat. Little inside baseball, but we did get to listen to like a demo show, and I'm just listening to Karel and I'm just going to call her Kax and Knoxy. I was listening to them just tell their stories, and I hadn't heard anything like this before. And it helped me realize exactly how much this show and stories like this are needed.
Yeah. I mean, I think people are going to really love to get to know Knoxy Kax, and they're both great personalities in the game. They have different journeys, and their story's not the same as a lot of other players in the game, very different from mine. And so I think it's so exciting to be able to bring together all these people that have meant so much to our sport, that have had, certainly challenges, but also have had these wonderful experiences and have made the game better, and have had teammates that have made it fun. And they know the game as well as anyone. So whether they're breaking down a game or they're telling stories, I think it's just going to be a fantastic opportunity for people who love the game to be a part of this.
Now, we don't have a specific date as of yet because we're lining up interviews and the shows are already underway. Some of them anyway. January 24th, the week of January 24th, which is next week, by the way. Sorry, the week of January 24th. That is today. Sorry.
I was like,
we're
what?
expecting in the next 7 days you will get an episode. We're just lining up. You know, the thing is that
I might tease Thursday.
Is Thursday the day?
I don't know. You might want to put that on your calendar.
All right. That's great. So Thursday is the day. And I think, I think what it was here is, we've been fortunate enough, Jayna, the three of us, to have a lot of exposure. Our good friend Sasky worked with the CWHL for a long, long time. We did some events with them, had a blast. And, we'd hear these stories. And I remember Laura Fertino and Nat Spooner and like they would tell us things that happened. And we were like, no one knows this. And and you mentioned it earlier, the heaviness of talking about the women's game and, the struggle to get it to a professional level and have the proper living wages and all the other things that go along with that are there. They're present. But they tend to cloud these amazing stories about just hockey and friendship and fun. And I'm expecting some serious chirps. And, just talking to Liz and Carell about this, the idea is you're supposed to be able to listen to this show and it's like you're sitting at the kitchen table with them, listening to them talk about things with their friends, right? Things that you wouldn't normally hear. And that's sort of, my belief is that, and I know the whole SDPN thing is we think that you fall in love with people with stories, right? You fall in love with the game with stories. And I think the stories you're going to hear here are completely different from anything you've ever heard before. And the great thing is, Knoxy and Kax have a pretty good chemistry too. They're fun.
They are. They're a lot of fun. And, when we look at our membership alone from, players that are firefighters or nurses or teachers, and they play hockey. And then we've got athletes that are full-time athletes and competing in their second and third Olympic games, all very different journeys, some from small towns, some from Canada, some from around the world. And when you bring them all together around the love of the game, those stories tend to flow freely. So I think it's pretty exciting and, something that's never been done before in the women's game. And we are, completely aligned on this idea of, people follow athletes. And in order to follow athletes, you got to get to know them. You've got to have a glimpse into who they are as a person, what their life is like, what their stories along the way have been. And this is just so exciting to be able to do that and share these amazing athletes and ambassadors and role models and characters in the women's game.
So the show will cover the Olympics, obviously, because that tournament is pretty much upon us, and some of the athletes going. But of course, Jayna, too, we're going to talk about the PWHPA events that you guys have coming up as well. I'm not sure if we're if we can say anything, how we're going to do this, but I believe that the whole thing is we want this to continue beyond just the Olympic Games. It's always so convenient that every 4 years everybody's like, oh, women's hockey, and then it goes back to what it was before. Can you say anything? I should have asked you this before we even did the interview. Can you say anything about what's coming up with the PWHPA, or do we leave that for later?
Well, I think I can give you a little bit. We're in the midst of the Secret Dream Gap Tour, and just last week we announced our next stop, which will be in Ottawa in February 25th to the 27th. So really excited about that. We've got another one coming out very soon. So I can't say it, but maybe we'll let Knoxy and Kax break it a little early. We'll see. But really exciting one after that. And, the season's not done yet. We got a few lined up. And of course, we're all excited to follow what happens at the Olympic Games. But, we're so much deeper than that. And we're in a 24/7, 365 days a year talking women's hockey. So we're excited about what's to come.
Quick question for you. Are you still going to do your hockey camp? Are we once this is the Jayna Hefford hockey camp returning? And I was wondering, and this is really unfair putting you on the spot, can we sign Steve Dangle up for a day at the Jayna Hefford hockey camp?
Sign up Steve for a day. I don't know. My camp has been on pause for the last 2 years with COVID. However, there's ice rinks everywhere. So let's do it. Let's get them on the ice. We'll get Knoxy up there. We'll have some fun.
Jayna, I don't know if you remember this, but we did play some street hockey together in Vancouver.
I do.
And we gave, so I think, who was it? It was you, Jillian Apps, and was it Jennifer Botterill?
I think so, yeah.
we gave them these short, crappy, like no flex in the stick, no curve in the stick. And I was the goalie, and so we want to make a funny video. So we knew we were going to do 2 takes. The first one, I'm just flopping around like a buffoon. The second one, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try because I want to see how well I do. And I did worse. I couldn't believe one of you, I think it was you, just went backhand shelf.
It's definitely me then.
Oh my God. And like I wilted. I wilted. I really did. I wanted a story where I was like, I made a big save. Nope. Somehow did worse, and I still have not recovered. So I'm sure I'll do much better.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll do way better on ice.
Yeah, I'm sure you're way better now.
Oh man,
There's no way.
no, Jane, I got no pride.
Jane, I got to ask you while we have you, and I realize your time's limited, so I promise we won't keep you too much longer, but 5 Olympic Games. 5 Olympic Games, 4 Olympic golds, and 1 silver in Nagano. And I always wonder with a tournament like this, if you're on the team, how are you feeling a week and a half, 2 weeks beforehand? Have the nerves set in yet? How do you think the players are feeling right now? Doesn't matter what country, Canada, United States, Finland, Sweden, doesn't matter. How do you think they're feeling at this moment?
I think they're super excited. This is such a fun time. You're sort of ramping down your training to try to get in that nice peaking space. You're packing up wherever you've been living for the last 6 months. And it's like here, right? It's like something you've been focused on every day for the last 3.5 years. So super exciting as they get ready to go. Once you get there, hopefully the nerves don't set in too much, but the reality is you get there and you realize, this is it again, everything that's gone into it. And then you got to find a way to just play. And these women have been through a lot in the last 2 years. Again, regardless of whether you're talking about Canada, the US, Finland, Sweden, it's been a tough 2 years, 3 years for women's hockey and everyone, of course, with COVID. So, I really just can't wait to watch all of these women go out there and perform, and it's going to be awesome. And they always capture the heart of our nation. So looking forward to the games ahead.
I'm hoping one day, and it can't be on our show because it's got to be with Knoxy Kax, but I want to hear the story about how it felt to score the gold medal winning goal that you scored against Team USA in Salt Lake. So I'm going to hold that story, but I definitely want to know the whatever it is that you might remember from that. And if it's nothing, I completely understand because that would probably be a blur. But I want to hear that story and how that felt. Is that cool? Can we save that one?
Whenever you're ready.
Amazing. All right. So, Jayna, before we let you go, we just want to say on behalf of the SDPN, thank you to the PWHPA for taking a chance with us. I know that, cold calling and that sort of thing is a little bit out of style right now, but I really appreciate you taking ours. And we are very, very excited to embark on this partnership with you.
I appreciate that. We're super excited. Like I said, for us, it's about relationships. It's about values. It's about people that, want to grow the game with us. And that was clear from the beginning with you guys. So super excited to see this roll out, and hopefully it won't be the last time we all chat, and looking forward to all of it. So thanks to you guys.
Well, we have your contact now, so it can't be.
Yeah.
Jayna Hefford, thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Hey, how about some resolutions? Like cleaning up down there. You know what I'm saying? Nobody likes it messy down there. How about you shine? How about you deodorize? How about you crop dust? All of those things are available when you go to manscaped.com and use your 20% off code. And that code is DANGLE. It's the Performance Package 4.0, where you can find the Signature Lawnmower 4.0, the electric trimmer designed to trim hair on loose skin. The advanced skin-safe technology reduces cuts and nicks to your delicate areas. It also comes equipped with a 4,000K LED spotlight, so you can light it up. And also you can see what you're doing. And your grooming routine cannot be complete without applying the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver. Before showing off your 2022 self, you must revive and preserve. These unique formulations take care of the parts of your body that can get a little sweaty. And you can be confident that when you're showing that part of your body off, it'll smell great. To complete your set, Manscaped also throws in a nice travel bag and anti-chafing boxer briefs just as free gifts because they like you. So remember, when you need to clean up down there, you go to manscaped.com and use that code DANGLE. 20% off and free shipping. Look after them. What are they? Balls. Hey, does this sound familiar? You've got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows, you're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you've got your neighbor's best friends log in for the good stuff. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment that you love without the hassle, and a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called Direct TV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before. So you can watch your favorite sports, your favorite movies, and your favorite shows all in one place. It's easy. That means no more juggling remotes, no need to buy another device ever again, and the best part, there's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more about DirecTV at directtv.com. That's directtv.com. Compatible device required. Content varies based on your package. You know, waking up is tough, and it's always been tough. If you think back to like when you're in grade school and you have to wake up at like 6:30 or 7 o'clock for school, ugh. But at least you could look forward to that bowl of cereal. But then we grow up and we got to look after our health, and nobody likes that. Well, you can get back to being a kid, and you can look after your health all in one with Magic Spoon. We're all trying to eat better. Healthy breakfast does not have to be boring. Magic Spoon has amazing flavors you will love without all the bad stuff. And, you know, by the way, it's a great midnight snack before bed. So we're talking about cutting down carbs, sugar, unhealthy food. You can't eat that stuff anymore the same way that you could. How about this? 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and only 4 net grams of carbs in each serving. Only 140 calories per serving. It's keto-friendly. It's gluten-free. It's grain-free, soy-free, and low carb. And you can build your own box. There are some pretty amazing flavors, including cookies and cream, which is my favorite, maple waffle, blueberry, peanut, fruity frosted, and cocoa. So check it out. Go to magicspoon.com/SDP to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use the promo code, right? SDP, because that gets you $5 off. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's baked with a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal and make waking up a lot easier. magicspoon.com/SDP and use that code SDP. Save those $5 and enjoy.
So you mentioned Team Canada and like Olympic stories and all that. One thing that a lot of people don't know is that in preparation to go to the Olympics, you have to go to a Hockey Canada boot camp thing. So they take all the players and they put them in, I guess it's like a little bubble. It's a hockey boot camp, and they train them to the point where it's going to be everything worse than what you're going to go through for the 2 weeks of the Olympics.
So it's hell.
So they push them to the brink of like, you don't want to play hockey ever again. And Knoxy Kax on one of the demo episodes, they run through some of the stories from hockey boot camp.
Should we just release that episode then?
I would, but they're going to re-up those stories with a guest on a future episode. And it's an unbelievable look inside of what it takes to be an Olympian. Because you don't think about the training that goes into it. And these athletes, like, it's incredible what they have to do just to get ready for the Olympics. And then they go play hockey. And then it's all good. But just leading up to it, it's fascinating. So you have to hear that episode in the next couple of weeks.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that because they've already made 2 good episodes, but are they ever going to see the light of day?
Probably not.
Yeah, probably just,
No.
They'll
Tell the stories in a different way.
All right.
Yeah, you don't want to, like with a hockey game, you don't want to just throw someone into the game and go, good luck.
All right.
You got to have some sort of screen test, demo, something
You
like
got to
that.
practice.
100%.
You got to have a morning skate.
100%.
Fair enough.
Were you Coach Jesse? Were you tough on them?
Oh, no. I left. I'm not Shelton Keefe out there
Oh,
yelling and all the swear words and F-bombs.
You were soft today, Knoxy and Kax. Soft.
Every 10 minutes, I'm interrupting, just being like, play harder. Adam Wild would have said something different in this moment. Set up that topic better.
Soft and purposeless.
That's right. Sounds like some of my air checks on radio. Listen, so Steve is not feeling well, obviously. And
getting better.
Getting better, but just it's just one of those bugs, right? It's not COVID. Everybody's going to ask.
Well, I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah,
I'd be pretty surprised.
Yeah, it'd be you'd be the first person ever to have these symptoms for COVID, so you can assume what Steve is going through. But you know, listen,
these. Yeah.
I want to talk about this because I said to the guys before the show, and I wasn't sure it would be appropriate to say, but then Jesse said, "Well, you should probably say that on the air." Can we talk about hockey for a week without there being a racist incident? Like, how long do we need to? How many years do we need to talk about racism happening? It's almost monthly, right? And it's not necessarily always in hockey, but it's in the pop culture. I got to be honest, guys. It's surprising and shocking to me every time. And what's worse is that for people of color, it's not.
No, we're only seeing it, whenever it's recorded.
Yeah,
basically. And one of the things that struck me is, because this is now 2 racist incidents in hockey ago. Boko Imama was on the tail end of a racial slur in the AHL for the second time in 3 years. And I saw people saying, like, "Oh, I feel so bad for him because this is twice now." No, it's not. No, it's not.
Twice that we know about.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not 2.
No. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of the people who watch the show play NHL. You can't go 2 or 3 games without playing a team that's, entirely the darkest black character, called like George Floyd United, or something like that. It's not exclusively a hockey problem, but it's bad, man. It's really bad. It's really bad. Like there's a shaky angle of what happened to Jordan Subban at an ECHL game. And if we didn't have it, we would just have his word, and there'd be even more people doubting him than there already is, even though it's on friggin' camera.
I also want to say too, Jesse, I'm sorry if you turn up the volume on that, this is the Jacob Panetta, Jordan Subban incident that has now gone viral. But if you missed it, I just want to give you the context. There was a scrum, and essentially, Panetta, when they were skating back to their respective benches or the penalty box, wherever the refs were taking them, it wasn't evident at that point. There was a racist gesture that I don't need to repeat, that Panetta kind of, I guess, emoted towards Subban, and Subban obviously went after him at that point. Panetta has put out a statement, and it was a visual statement on his social media, saying that he thought it was like a weightlifter thing.
Yeah, what he did is important because he's saying that what he did shouldn't have been taken the way it was. He said he did a weightlifter thing, like you said, but it sure as hell looked like, and Jordan Subban took it as him doing a monkey gesture. And that's how the ref saw it on the ice, and the ref ejected him for a racial gesture. That's what went down on the game day that day.
So the ref saw that.
Yeah, that's what he was ejected for that day, and that's how Jordan Subban took it. And then his statement was that it was a tough guy thing.
And I thought I was crazy, but I think PK Subban was the one that pointed it out on Instagram when he posted it, because he retweeted it and reposted it on his Instagram. And he said, if you turn up the volume, you can hear people yelling the N-word openly in a crowd. And, when you see, I don't know if you guys saw PK's press conference afterwards, after the New Jersey game this weekend, but he talked about it. He's like, what if Jordan wasn't a Subban and had a brother playing in the NHL who has a big social media following? He's like, how many people just like Jordan have gone through this, but didn't have the last name Subban, didn't have the same public profile that comes with PK's name, with Jordan's name. It's all their name. And I think, again and again and again, we keep seeing this, and it's so funny because the comfort level with it is the part that shocks me the most. I'm not surprised that there are ignorant people out there. That I'm not surprised with, especially in the last 5 years. The comfort level of people just yelling something like that out doing something like that has been the part that shocked me the most. It's been, and I don't know, maybe it was always there, but I can't remember a time where it was like where people were like, oh, well, I guess he's just an outward racist. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think it's being caught on camera. I think that's why we're seeing it so much, is because of technology. Is like, because I was like, okay, how are we going to talk about this incident? Because we can't sit here and do the racism is bad conversation.
Yeah, I think we
we can't. Oh, we're going to condemn his actions and finger wag at racism.
Well, it's like, we were tweeting about everybody's like, this is disgusting. I think we're beyond this is disgusting.
That doesn't help anything by saying it's disgusting, because that should be like the minimum. That should be the baseline. Yes, this is all wrong and it's bad. But yeah, the point you make about how comfy it is. And it seems to be that it's comfy within the game, like on the ice, specifically in hockey, because we're not getting weekly racism incidents out of the NBA or the G League, as an equivalent. The G League doesn't have monthly racism issues. So I guess I'd liken it to technology just catching these comfy racism moments, and that they've been happening for the last forever within these minor league hockey leagues.
So I think the Akeem Aliu commented on the incident, and I thought he made a really good point. And there's a couple things I want to say here because, I think it's important that we get to these. But Akeem nailed this. He said, can we stop saying hockey is for everyone? I know that's the NHL's mantra, and it's what they want you to believe. But as we continue to witness, it's simply not true. How about we say, let's make hockey for everyone? Admit our shortcomings and strive for something tangible. Now that is a really good point. There's a big, to some people that might not seem like a big deal, but I think admitting where we are is we haven't even got there with the NHL yet. And there are people who are going, well, why does this have anything to do with the NHL? This is the ECHL. It's a completely different league. Guys, the NHL is the leader in the sport. They are the leader in the sport. They set the tone. When the NHL changes its rules, the CHL, the AHL, the ECHL, they all change their rules. When the NHL wants something tested, they call the CHL, they call David Branch, and they say, can you test this in the CHL, please? Mm-hmm. The NHL is the leader. So on the ice, they are the leader. Off the ice, they are the leader. They set the tone for hockey. And that is why it's important for the NHL to take a stand here. Mm-hmm. Now, does the NHL and its leadership understand that? Clearly not. But once they do, we might actually be able to make some progress here. Until they do, until the NHL says, listen, if you're going to do that, you'll never play here. Until you do that, until the NHL does that, we're going to continue to have these conversations. And that's the problem. The NHL in so many ways, because they're lawyers, never want to admit fault for anything. And the problem is that nothing is perfect, but to completely ignore an issue like this, which is a societal problem that is reflected in a sport that is majority white, to ignore where we're at with this is reprehensible and irresponsible. We can't move forward until the NHL takes a really good hard look at this. And they are not willing to, and we'll take from Black Girl Hockey Club, get uncomfortable. It's fucking uncomfortable. Nobody wants this, nobody on the show wants this to be the case. That's the problem here. It's that the NHL needs to take the leadership role here. They need to take a step forward. And listen, I'll be honest with you. How much ECHL coverage do you see ever? If you're in a major, never, right?
Not a ton.
So
you only hear about these leagues when something either spectacular happens or something awful happens.
We talked about that with the Ukrainian league. We were like, no offense, but we shouldn't be talking about this league.
Right. Exactly.
Except this happened.
If the Ukrainian league or the ECHL takes a really hard stance and does the right thing, that's great. But we need a platform for which that needs to be broadcast, and the only league that's got that kind of platform is the NHL. Mm-hmm. Is that fair?
Yeah, there needs to be some sort of acknowledgement that it's a problem. That's the first step, acknowledging that there's an issue, and the NHL doesn't do that.
Yeah.
What if there was a if you're suspended for a racist incident in a minor league before you reach the NHL, you're never allowed to play in the National Hockey League. That seems fair. If you're a racist, you can't play in our league.
I mean,
but, like, I don't know. There's no, like, we've seen how Bettman and co react to anything that's controversial in the league. It's ignore it, go to play the legal side.
They're worried about, and this is without saying it, they're saying it. They're worried about alienating people.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to stay quote unquote neutral. I don't know why you need to stay neutral when it comes to race. I understand staying neutral when it comes to politics. But I don't understand why you need to worry about, like, if you're worried about alienating people because it's wrong to be a racist, if that's a problem for you, why do you want those people in the first place? And number two, I think, and probably more importantly, you might have a problem with your sport.
Right.
You're worried about that many people leaving? That means there's that many people who would disagree with you about racism?
You should be okay with alienating that side.
Yes! And here's the thing. They're worried about, well, people who don't believe that they're racist or like, well, but I don't want any of this woke bullshit. Come on, guys. Come on. This is easy. Like, we're asking you to do the bare minimum and you can't. And what's been disappointing too is the lack of statement from the NHL. Obviously, Panetta's team put out a statement and then put out another statement. They released the player, obviously, but then they were like, "We apologize to anybody who was offended." Anybody?
Yeah.
Subban could have gotten an apology directly, could he not?
Mm-hmm.
And listen, there were people all over the ECHL going like, this is pending a hearing, and they've got to, the ECHL has to take over this. And people were like, it's right on camera. Why do you need to have a hearing? Well, they have to. They have to have a hearing. That's the deal. They have to have the hearing. And I know what happened. But this is an organization. They have to have a hearing. They have to go through the protocols. I get that. But I can't understand why you can't just say publicly, Jordan, holy shit, we're so sorry. Like, is that hard?
Yeah. I had a tough conversation yesterday with Julian McKenzie, just because, he was sort of venting to me a little bit, and I was, never know how to ask the question. You want to talk about it?
Right.
And we had like a 45-minute phone call about it, and I feel bad because, and Jesse, I'm sure you know the feeling. I was with Kevin Weeks at an event once, and I can't remember what it was, but his phone was ringing off the hook. And the reason it was ringing off the hook was something racist had happened. I want to say it was when Wayne Simmons was playing an exhibition game with the Flyers in London, Ontario, and someone threw a banana on the ice. And, I didn't connect the dots, and I was just like, oh, you're a popular guy. And Kevin's like, well, yeah, something black in hockey happened. And he, I definitely got the impression he was tired of being the guy who getting the phone call because, something racist happened. Basically, I'm sick of talking about it because I'm sick of it happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope this is the last one. I think we know it won't be. So you need Big Brother on the case, and that's the NHL. In this case, they're the biggest organization, and the punishment needs to fit the crime. It's you do not have a human right to play in a hockey league, and it can be taken away. That privilege can be taken away if you do something like this.
I also want to say this, on top of that, Steve, I think, we gotta, there's a couple things that I think, when people are mad, we blurt. At least I do. Some people get mad and get quiet. Jesse, do you get mad and get quiet, or do you blurt? I feel like you get quiet.
I'm more quiet.
You're quiet.
Guess, yeah.
Yeah.
You must have spent most of our first few years together mad at me then.
No, still going.
So here's what people said. Throw the book at him, kick him out of the league. I'm down. But if you think that is going to prevent other racist incidents happening, we know from the criminal justice system that deterrents on the whole don't usually work. They certainly don't snuff out the problem. Every single player, if you want to play in this league, we got to be proactive. We can't be reactive.
Mm-hmm.
We got to have some sort of training here about racial sensitivity. Like, let's just be honest about it. Most corporations have it. Why do these leagues not have it? Because here's the thing. If I'm the ECHL and I haven't done that, and I go, well, I kicked him out of the league. Well, people go to jail for murder all the time. It doesn't stop murder. Mm-hmm. You must educate. You must help people understand. And listen, you're going to have people from all sorts of different backgrounds. You'll probably have some players who got racist families, who've never been exposed to different cultures. Maybe they're from a town where there aren't a lot of different cultures there.
Mm-hmm. So Krzysztof Rabik is going through sensitivity training as a part of his indefinite suspension.
Why not the whole league?
Yes, but
take 2 days out of your fucking season before training camp starts. Sit there for 8 hours. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. Once a year.
Yeah.
I mean, is that hard? Can we
do
that?
Is. It is interesting because my instinct is to say, well, how the fuck don't you know that's something you shouldn't be doing?
But clearly we know.
But a shocking amount of people don't know. It seems like I don't know. I don't know if it's the solution, but we're coming up with them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm tired of this, man. I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
Do you guys have anything to add?
Just like follow up on what you were saying, Steve, about like Weeks and him getting all those phone calls when a black thing in hockey happens. Like there's when the Amama incident happened, I think about his parents being immigrants from the Congo and bringing their son over, and you bring your child to another country, and then they're here, and then they're just marked as an outsider by this thing they're enjoying, and just how disappointed they are as parents that they bring into a country, and then he's mocked for being a monkey, and just it perpetuates the, hey, black people in hockey are this unicorn and this different thing, and Weeksy, like in those moments, that's probably how he felt, you harken back to, he's different, and you can't just help but feel for the whole situation and how deep it runs. And you have a powerful hockey family like the Subans, and they can't even escape anything like this. And it's receiving so much press because of who they are. And you imagine, like you said, Adam, if it was somebody else, and like, I don't know, like we're going to be here again. Like there's no doubts about that it's going to be in a couple weeks or a month or next season. But I'm glad it's being called out. I'm glad we have these conversations. I'm glad platforms like ours and the CJ show, and they mentioned it on Hockey Night. I'm glad everybody's talking about it now, and that's the only way to stifle it out of the game, is to keep talking about it and then to implement some rules. And being proactive isn't something that the NHL ever does, and hopefully this is enough to make them be proactive on something.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I think I've told this story before, but I'm sure there's going to be some finger wagging about like regions and stuff like that. I still remember, I haven't found the footage anywhere, but I remember this happening vividly. It was a pre-tournament game for the 2009 World Juniors. So this would have been December 2008.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a pre-tournament game between Canada and Sweden. Everyone very excited. John Tavares, Victor Hedman, 1-2, that matchup and everything. And they're doing the anthems before the game, and the camera is panning the Swedish hockey team. And if I'm not mistaken, their goalie, who ended up being part of the Leafs organization, was Marco Wuja, who's black. And I remember the sound changing in the building, because people were like, "Whoa, there's a black guy on Team Sweden. How strange." And that's at the Air Canada Centre in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So it's been a problem for a long time. And that might not sound like the biggest transgression. It might sound like less than what Jacob Panetta did, but it's still something that contributes to the larger overall problem.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So be proactive in your life any way that you can. And obviously, we're hoping that the biggest league in hockey, the most profitable league in hockey that makes billions of dollars, I think they're on track to make $5.2 billion this year alone off of us. You know, maybe they could do something because it starts with them. That's who the kids watch. That's who the other leagues watch. NHL, this one's for you. Go and take it and do something right, please. Please. So, listen, there's no way to get out of this easy, right? There's no way to get out of this particular topic. As I always say, it's going to be a hard right turn, but we do have hockey to talk about. Are you guys good with that?
Yeah.
Want to chat a little bit about
Leafs Isles?
Leafs? Well, here's where I wanted to start, if it's okay, because we've been hard on them. And in dramatic fashion, down 2-0 on a Saturday night, Calgary, Edmonton. The Oilers come back and win a game and probably save like 40 jobs. So congratulations to the Edmonton Oilers.
They need to fix how they play hockey. What
do you mean? They're great.
My goodness, watching that game. They play the highest event hockey. And anybody who can just either you're going to keep up or you're just going to stifle them, they're losing that game.
Yes.
If Calgary is a better hockey team, they win that game. Because Edmonton was just so they're wild on the ice. I don't know what the best way to put it is, but just up and down all the time. It's just I don't know if it's lacking structure or just the lacking of caring of protecting of the puck. But all they want to do is have fun and shoot and score goals, and occasionally it works, and most of the time it doesn't. And I think they're so lucky to win that game on Saturday.
They are.
Whatever, man. They won. Like,
First win in 2022. It took 22 days. 22 days. And Leon Draisaitl's goal, I have to say, when he turnstyled Chris Tanev there and just blew by, it's a vintage Leon Draisaitl goal.
What a piss missile.
Yeah.
Pissy missile.
It's a shame he's not polite, though.
Yeah. It would make him better.
It would. He'd be a better player. Better player. That was unbelievable. And the thing is, though, the end of the day, does it solve everything for the Oilers? No. But it does sort of feel like the air is out of the balloon a little bit. Mm-hmm. Right?
Oh, absolutely. Like listen, one game is not going to fix all their problems, but I used this word before. It's toxic. It became really toxic. Not every team is perfect. No team in the National Hockey League is perfect. Everyone's going to have stinkers. Everyone's going to have little ruts and slumps and everything like that. But this was a super slump, and everyone except for Brendan Perlini was very visibly miserable with hockey and life. So to get a win of any friggin' kind, I think is a huge, huge victory.
How many of them do you think were feeling the Ryan O'Reilly? I just lost my love of the game. Remember when he said that leaving Buffalo?
Yeah. Yeah. No, you can't tell me that doesn't happen a little bit.
Sure.
I don't know if Edmonton is quite as toxic as, the O'Reilly Sabres were. That was bad. Looking back on it, like looking at the Sabres and how they play now, like they're still not very good, but you can see the progress and you can see people actually enjoy showing up and playing for the Sabres. Now they straight up didn't for like half a decade. And that's a problem. The whole 8-team no trade list is the 7 Canadian teams in Buffalo. I mean, is it the proximity to the border, or is it that it sucks to play there?
That's a good question.
I don't think it's not a problem with the city or anything. I think it was just a miserable place to play hockey for a long time, and they're coming out of that now. They're a goaltender away from a little bit of relevance. I mean, they're still pretty bad, but They got some young guys. They got, Alex Tuck, who definitely wants to be there. Things are improving. With Edmonton, you're always going to have, at very least, the McDavid and Draisaitl shine. There is always going to be an excitement around the team, no matter how many games they lose, because you see Draisaitl score the winner, 22 games into 2022, finally get their first win. And there's still an element of they could ride this for a few weeks and be okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does feel like that.
I don't know.
I know.
I know.
It's wrong.
The playoffs is so far away.
It's very far away, and they still got to get there. And it's very interesting because I don't think we talk enough about how they outshot Winnipeg like significantly in all 4 games en route to getting swept.
Mm-hmm.
Like, man, they still have those problems in net. Although Koskinen was good, eh?
He was
Koskinen
very good.
okay.
That cross crease robbery. I mean, that was the game right there. He saved the game.
But you also see sort of what I was saying, where, I've seen Mikko Koskinen win games before, but man, the team in front of him is so bad at helping out their goalies.
Yeah.
Kind of, we give Mike Smith a lot of shit in that contract. Man, putting up the numbers he has with that team in front of him, that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing.
Mike Smith should be a Vezina candidate based on how this team plays defense.
Do you have the standings, Adam?
I can pull them up. No problem.
I want to know how far they are out of the second wild card spot.
Okay.
And how many teams are in between them.
Standing.
Because Steve is on Zoom today, I can't pull it up on my own.
Okay.
So, Steve, thank you for that.
So what we got here,
My bad.
Edmonton they are currently, the Wild and San Jose hold the 2 wildcard spots. San Jose, look at everybody. San Jose. Now, to be fair,
and they got
San Jose has played
too.
42 games and everybody else is hovering around 37.
Right.
So I don't expect that to last, and their goal differential is at -16, so it's not going to last.
Ooh.
But the Edmonton Oilers are currently 6 spots behind Minnesota for the first, or 5 behind San Jose for the second. They have 40 points. To get into that second wildcard spot, you would need 44. And it's reasonable to assume with 37 games played that at 42 games, they would have 44 points, which is where San Jose is at. Unfortunately, though, the next jump up is quite large. Minnesota's got 51 points because they're in a really, really tough division in the Central. If Edmonton's really going to make this, they got to take a swing at getting into the top 3 in the Pacific.
Oof.
Because
it's crazy that on January 24th, there's still only one Canadian team in the playoffs.
Yeah, Calgary's out by, Calgary has 6 games in hand on San Jose.
Yeah.
So pretty reasonable to expect they'll be
points
there.
Percentage.
100%.
Right.
Yeah, we're not basing this on points percentage. But Edmonton,
right,
they're still in it. But based on what you've seen lately, and I know Vancouver's played 4 more games, I would put my money on Vancouver over Edmonton. Just based on what we're seeing.
They've leveled off a little bit. They're 4-4-2 in their last 10.
But they've got screwed with their goalie COVID situation. Did you see that
Right.
on Saturday where they're playing their 5th string goalie? I forget his name off the top of my head. And then they had the UBC E-bug
Pietro?
in the DiPietro. Michael DiPietro was their goalie, and then the UBC backup as their E-bug. That was fun. But they pulled it out on Friday with their 4th string goalie, and then he got injured. So I don't know. The Vancouver's been playing so well since Boudreau took over that I'm not betting against them.
That was Spencer Martin in net for the Canucks.
That was the Friday game.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, he was the goalie for the Mississauga Steelheads when I was the in-arena host.
Oh, there you go.
He's a lovely young boy.
So
he's very nice.
I want to switch to the Leafs here because I want to talk about the Atlantic for a second. The Leafs are 7-2-1 in their last 10. That's a great record.
That's hilarious.
The problem is that the 2 teams ahead of them, Florida and Tampa Bay, are 7-2-1 and 7-3-0. The Leafs have 53 points. Boston has 50, and they're in the second wildcard spot. The next closest team is Detroit with 42.
Wow.
Hey, you want some fun?
Uh-huh.
Because it's breaking? So Josh Clohey, the Leafs lines at practice: Bunting, Matthews, Kasha.
Oh.
We've seen that before.
Okay.
Mikheyev, Tavares, Marner. Kerfoot, Kampf, Nylander.
Okay.
Oh,
Engvall,
Willie's demoted?
Spezza, Simmons.
Well,
Pardon?
first off, the way Engvall's been playing, which has been unstoppable. He
Hilarious.
should be, he's been hilarious. Can anyone stop Pierre Engvall? I wonder if Sheldon keeps doing this because in the playoffs he may want to spread out the weapons a little bit.
Maybe.
His strategy the last 2 playoffs has been to pile the weapons together.
Right, and neutralize them. How do we neutralize ourselves best? Put everybody
He
on the
plays
same line.
the Matthews, Nylander, Marner line all the time.
Yeah. I wonder if it's a. I mean, I don't know what to say about that. Do you guys have any thoughts, theories?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Like, it's not like Tavares needs to get going. He's got 36 points in 37 games. He's having a great year.
And
they're all having a great year.
When he tries to get them going, he puts them together. You know, this is weird.
Okay.
I feel like it's maybe a shot across the bow. Hey, play freaking defense.
To Nylander? Not to
Yeah,
Nylander.
but like I don't feel like he's been poor.
No.
He's the only one getting the demotion.
Take away God. Well, maybe it's not a demotion so much as it's a leveling off. So maybe you have 3 number 1 lines. Or 2 number 2 lines.
If I'm Willie, I'm on the 3rd line now.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm playing with
Yeah.
I'm just most definitely.
Jesse's right.
Yeah.
Jesse's right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, the Leafs are having a very, very good year, but it seems like they're going to be, I don't know, somewhere in the low top 10, and they're going to have to play just an insane opponent. Like, that's what it's going to be, guys.
They'd be better off having a wild card position, would they not?
Well, then
No,
they'd have to play
not
Carolina.
really.
Oh, no. Yeah, no.
Yeah, you get to play Carolina or Pittsburgh. Yay.
Yeah, no, never mind.
You don't, because Pittsburgh at any time, really, but Pittsburgh in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
No thanks. I don't want Pittsburgh. I don't want Sidney Crosby in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you?
They've really struggled in the playoffs in recent years. That is not going to happen again this year.
I don't think so either.
Steve, you said something in the LFR that was pertains to this conversation. You were running through who they might have to face, and you were like, there's no easy matchup in the playoffs, so it doesn't matter.
And they had the easiest one last year and blew it. So, like, I don't know, stop looking for one. Stop looking for an easy path to the Stanley Cup. It doesn't exist.
Right. You
Like,
should
how
want the
many-
hard path.
Yeah. Like, how many times, have you heard a team Stanley Cup journey and you were like, oh, man, they had it really easy the whole way? Never. People will point out that Montreal made it to the final and there was an injury to the Leafs. There was an injury to the Jets. There was, actually a suspension to the Jets.
Injury to Vegas, Chandler Stevenson.
They were the worst team to make the playoffs. Everyone wanted to draw them. And they did and lost.
True.
Yep.
There's no easy path. Stop hoping for a team.
Yeah.
You cheer for the Leafs. You're on their wish list.
Right. The Islanders game on Saturday I thought was interesting for just a couple of reasons. First off, it's pretty clear that the Islanders need to get somebody who can score a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Like Parise had a good goal and that sort of thing. I get that, but their defense looks good. Like whenever, I don't know what their penalty kill percentage is, but they certainly had the Leafs on a few penalty kills where I'm like, the Leafs are like non-factors here. You could see that there's a defensive system in place. But I feel like sometimes, first off, I know they had goaltending issues, COVID issues, things like that. But I think sometimes when you double down on a system that's really, really working for you, in this case, in the Islanders, it's defense. If you double down too hard, then you just become that one thing. And then you can't do the other things that you need to do to be successful. It's right. Like when the Leafs got overly offensive, no toughness, and then in the playoffs they had to play Boston. You do need a little bit of mix of some of those things. Play to your strengths, but you got to have 80% has got to be your strength. Some of the 20%'s got to be something else.
Yeah. There's sorry boys, I don't remember what I was.
You're a trooper, Steve Dangle. Listen, we're keeping the show somewhat short today because of how you're doing. So I feel for you.
The Islanders ran the Leaf show with Babcock at the helm. The Keefe Leafs have all of a sudden turned into the Islanders boogeyman, where the Leafs give the Islanders the backup treatment every time and beat them anyway. Mrazek allowed the most goals against the Islanders that any Leaf goalie has in their last 3 games, and he only allowed 1.
Wow.
Woll got a shutout, first career, and Michael Hutchinson got one, I believe.
Yeah, it wasn't
And
even
then
Jack Hamill.
You got to talk about the Garrett Sparks Memorial Adam Wild stand up for John Tavares game.
Yeah. You know what? Underrated, unforgivable thing Babcock did. Like, he scratched Spezza for Nick Shore in the home opener. Yeah, that was bad, but just get a pulse. Like, what? How is your backup starting John Tavares' return to Long Island? Get a clue.
There's a perverseness with that, for sure.
Yeah. Like I got a lot of people going, oh yeah, but you can't adjust your plan like that.
What if you simply did?
Right? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
And
like,
it wasn't even Sparks wasn't even really the backup at the time. He was like we're testing out Sparks as a backup.
Here's a guy that didn't get claimed this year.
Yeah,
that's
and you start him in the biggest game for John Tavares' career so far. Like,
no, and if I remember, they like held the fort pretty well early on in that game, and then there was a goal that went in, and then there were several.
Yeah,
and the Islanders just killed the Leafs basically every time. And then I think Freddie gets in there and he finally won their first one. Tavares got the winner. Mm-hmm. But under Keefe, like, I don't know if they've lost to them. I can't remember. It's weird that the Leafs are anybody's defensive boogeyman, and they appear to be the Islanders. And believe me, I don't get it either.
Well, the Leafs look good defensively against the Islanders because the Islanders cannot score. They literally cannot score. It's not fair.
Now, like, to be fair to them, they've been way better of late, but they're still. Did we talk about this on the last show? How even though they're like 7-2-1 in their last 10, they're still like 16 points out of the spot.
We did mention it. The chances of them making the playoffs are not looking good. They've just dug too big of a hole.
Yeah.
They're still 16 points out.
Yeah.
Let me throw this at you. The Toronto Maple Leafs have 128 goals this year. Now, obviously, there's been some discrepancy. A lot of teams are like 5 games back, like the Leafs are. Florida Panthers have played the full amount of games. They have 168. I don't see the Leafs scoring 40 goals in the next 5 games. That's how potent the Florida Panthers offense is. It's insane. Can anyone tell me how many goals the New York Islanders have this season?
You said the Florida leads it with how many?
168.
170. And here, just throwing it out there. So Panthers 170, Avalanche 165. Third is 149.
So Steve, stop. You can't look at it.
So
Steve
Steve looked at it. So
I'm looking at the top.
Just looking at the top. Just looking at the top. By the way, the Islanders have played the least amount of games in the league because they had all the COVID issues. 34 games.
Yeah.
So Steve has not seen it.
And also
they couldn't play. They didn't
ridiculous.
have an arena.
That's right. Like, yeah, there's that too.
I forgive their very poor season so far because they didn't get to play at home for a month and a half.
Yes,
while they
waited
waited for UBS to be built.
Yeah.
But also, you got to at least stay competitive. You can't fall off the map completely. Yeah. I'm going to guess 110 goals.
110 goals in 34 games. Reasonable.
I'm going to guess 96.
Are you guys ready for the real stat?
What is it?
Hit me.
Last in the league in 34 games, the Islanders have 79 goals.
Whoa! No, they're at 80 now, liar.
What? No, this is to NHL.com. They are at
That's
79,
what I'm on.
79 goals is what they say. Goals for 79.
Well, okay, 79.5.
Okay.
What?
I'm looking at it. It says 80.
It says 79 here.
You know what? Don't think it matters.
No, it's bad. Either way, it's bad. They have...
What the hell?
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah, and it's funny because their goals for per game is not even the worst in the NHL. The worst in the NHL, Montreal. 40 games. How many goals does Montreal have?
Oh, well, I already saw. It's bad.
Jesse, how many goals do you think?
Jesse, guess.
You said it's a little better, so like
they've played 40 games as well.
85.
87.
Oh, wow.
So they are the worst, 2.28 goals for per game, and then the Arizona Coyotes are actually worse than New York as well, with 89 goals in 40 games, 2.23. And the Coyotes and Canadians have both let in over 145 goals to match their 80-plus goal totals. So that is ugly. Mm-hmm. Ugly. And it's surprising. I mean, I get it with New York. It was a weird season and the COVID and everything else. But I have to say this one thing. When they did the camera shot and they pull away from the building, Belmont looks really nice.
Oh, yeah.
Like UBS Arena, like I want to go. It looks amazing.
They'll be fine. I think they're going to be fine. And this is an off year and Lou's going to win the draft lottery because
they have to.
That's how it works.
They get Shane Wright.
Oh!
Yeah. Barzal and Shane Wright.
Oh!
Yeah, easy. Identity line.
Oh, man. Can't it just happen all in the Western Conference, please?
Yeah, they're going to get an unprotected first for 54-year-old Zdeno Chara.
I hadn't checked our Reddit in a long time, guys. And our Reddit's kind of quiet because we moved everybody over to Discord.
Yeah,
so
Reddit shouldn't exist.
I would say, oh, really? Well, I would suggest that you go to the Discord, but there were some people musing at who they thought would be coming to the SDPN.
Oh.
And everybody thought because Dave Alter resigned from the Hockey News and joined the Nations Network today. By the way, congratulations to friend of the show, Dave Alter, and his new job, joining a place that Steve used to work at. Anyway, long story short, I wanted to, somebody sent me the link and I was like, oh, I should just check that. And then I looked at the Reddit. And so the teams that we drafted remember we did that snake draft?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Somebody actually went through and did our teams and did like a simulation with our teams.
No way.
So here's what the rules were. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Each team consists of the 6 players you drafted. Remaining players are from the Oshawa Generals because you got to have 12 forwards, 6D, and 2 goalies.
Okay.
Each team has a home and away game against each team. 2 points for a win, 1 point for an OTL. Top 2 teams advance to a best of 3 playoff. If a tie, it goes to a goal differential. So here are the overall ratings. My team is a 60 overall. Jesse's a 59 overall. Steve is a 57 overall. And that mostly had to do with defense and goaltending. Steve easily had the best offense, but his goaltending was like a 49. Game 1, Jesse versus Adam. Jesse takes a 2-goal lead in the first, and then Draisaitl gets injured.
What?
Yeah, Jesse and Adam
turn off injuries.
Go back and forth for goals in the second, and Jesse left with a 3-2 lead after the second. Both teams battled to the third goals, but Matthews ties it up with 41 seconds. It's a 5-5 tie. McDavid scores the overtime winner, so I win that game 6-5 in OT. Second game, and again, it's Adam versus Jesse. It's the home and home. I took a 2-1 lead. Jesse's tied it up. Draisaitl magically back from injury. He was okay. While playing in the OT, McDavid scores again. 3-2 win. Final score, Adam wins 3-2. Then it's Adam versus Steve. Steve leaves an uneventful first with the 1-goal lead. Steve's team then pumps Igor Shesterkin for 5 consecutive goals.
Let's go!
Forcing a goalie pull at 6-0. Adam's team attempts to come back, but they lose 7-3. Game 4, again, home and home, Steve versus Adam. Adam and Steve leave in the first period tied at 1. Steve's team takes a 2-1 lead after the second, but McDavid ties it up quickly in the third. Oh. With an exchange of goals, the game goes to OT tied at 3s. In OT, Connor freaking McDavid scores again. 4-3 Adam win. Now, Jesse versus Steve. Jesse takes a 2-0 lead in the first. Jesse puts up a fight in the second, scoring, but surrenders 1, giving him a 3-2 lead going into the third. In the third, the floodgates open for Jesse. He gets a 6-3 lead and a 6-3 win. At this point, Adam's spot in the playoffs, or in the finals, is secure. And this comes down to the final game for Jesse versus Steve. Tight first period, scoreless. Kaprizov opens the scoring for Jesse. Steve teams answers back with 2 goals, making it 2-1. Crosby gets taken out at the beginning of the third period with a hit to the head.
No!
But then, and you know Jesse was like, hey, I'm going to take out Crosby with an elbow. But that doesn't stop Steve's team as they rally behind their captain's injury and go on to score 2 goals and 1 empty netter, and they secure their spots in the finals versus Adam.
Who played goal for Steve?
Both the Oshawa Generals goalies. So that's how they filled out the roster.
Okay.
Everybody else had to be Oshawa General, so that was Steve's goalie.
I missed that part.
So, first game, McDavid opens the scoring. Steve keeps it tight. Ends the first 2-1. Adam's team adds another. It's 3-1 going into the third. Then Captain Canada shows up with a goal and assist. Sidney Crosby, that is. Steve team comes out buzzing with momentum on their side, and Hedman wins it in overtime. Steve's up 1-0 in the series, baby.
No way.
I love that these games all go to overtime. Adam's team is pissed, and they come out firing 2 goals in the first 5 minutes of the first
bullshit
in the second game. Adam's team remains tight defensively, goes up 3-0. Steve's puts
bullshit.
1 on the board, but Adam's team scores another 2. 5-1 win, Adam. And then the final, tied 1-1. Adam lights the lamp halfway through with Ovechkin. Adam lights the lamp halfway through the first, but Ovechkin from Crosby answers. I forgot Steve had Ovechkin and Crosby.
Yeah.
Steve team lights the lamp in the second, but McKinnon quickly answers. It's 2-2 after the second. 1 minute, 20 seconds into the third period, Kucherov picks a corner, and Steve takes the lead. 10 minutes into the third, Hedman lays a bad hit and has to fight, taking out Steve's only defenseman for 5 minutes. Only NHL caliber defenseman for 5 minutes. 11:45, Adam's team capitalizes. The game is 3-3. 2:47 with the momentum on Adam's team's side. They take the lead. Steve pulls the goalie with a minute left, 10 seconds left, and they scramble in front of Adam's net. They clear it. The clock runs out, and Adam is the draft tournament champion. McDavid wins the tournament MVP with 15 points. I thought that was pretty intense, right? Like,
that was good.
That's serious.
Kudos to them for going through all those sims.
Yes.
Like, that must have taken a while.
And putting the teams together.
Well done.
Yeah. Ultimatum 34-68. By the way, no, it's not Ultimatum. It's Tum Tum 34-68. I don't know where I got Ultimatum. Anyway, Tum Tum, I hope you join us over on Reddit, and you should repost it, or not Reddit. Join us on Discord. Take what you had on Reddit, post it on the Discord, because that is insane. And I love that that it was that close. Now, shall we do the press conference? I've always been a fan of Stance socks. If you've never heard of Stance socks, you can't not love them. Once you know them, you love them. They're versatile. They're colorful. They make great gifts. But did you know that Stance is now expanding outside of just the sock game? The sock game was strong. Now the whole wardrobe game is going to be strong. The best part of it, all the clothing stayed true to Stance's unique quality. So if you've enjoyed the comfort and creativity of Stance in the past, you're not going to believe what Stance has in store for you. We're talking about bringing color and comfort and creativity from head to toe with this new all-athletic active apparel line. That's right. What started out as a sort of like a radical reinvention of your sock drawer is now expanded to your entire wardrobe, and it fits you perfectly. Full range of fits, prints, fabrics, fun, and it's all stitched just a little bit different. Stance's philosophy is that you should never have to sacrifice your own individual style for the sake of comfort. And now, you don't have to. Whether you're relaxing in the house, or working out at the gym, or running all over town, Stance now delivers its signature softness and creativity in a full line of active apparel styles from toe to head. Because, it's Stance socks, right? You got to start at the bottom. Stance has got you covered. Head on over to Stance.com and get 15% off your first purchase. Use the promo code STP at checkout to apply. Enjoy the color and comfort of life less ordinary with Stance. Stance.com/STP. We're stitched different. It's 2022, which means football playoffs, which have been amazing so far, and basketball are in full swing. And for many of us, there's no better way to enjoy the games than by having some skin in the game. That's why BetMGM remains the exclusive betting partner of The Athletic. And as a fan of The Athletic, you can bet $10 and win $200 plus a free 1-year subscription or extension with your subscription to The Athletic when you use BetMGM and our promo code. Just sign up with BetMGM.com and use the promo code TheAthleticPod at checkout to take advantage of this special offer from the King of Sportsbooks. That's bet $10 to win $150 plus 3 free months free from The Athletic at BetMGM.com. Use that promo code. It's TheAthleticPod, spelled how it sounds, all one word. The Athletic Pod. New customer offer. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions.
21 years of age or older to wager. Arizona, Colorado, Washington, D.C., Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia only. Excludes Michigan disassociated persons. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona, 1-800-522-4700 in Colorado, Washington, D.C., Nevada, Wyoming, and Virginia, 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help in Michigan, 1-800-GAMBLER in Maryland, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia, 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. Call or text the Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789 in Tennessee or call 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana.
Hey, New York! Sports betting is here. Hey, place your first bet of $10 on any football game with BetMGM and win $200 regardless of the outcome of your bet. Just sign up with the bonus code ATHLETICNY, all one word, that's ATHLETICNY, to get in the game with the king of sportsbooks. Download the BetMGM app today. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued with non-withdrawable fee bets or site credit. Free bets expire in 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369-NY.
The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Steve's going to die if we don't make this short.
I'm so hungry and I'm so afraid to eat.
Oh God. So today for our press conference, as I mentioned on Friday, we took questions from our Instagram story.
Hey!
It's a lot of fun because we got a whole bunch of responses, very well received. If you're not following us on Instagram, follow at sdpn sports on Instagram. This question comes from Lexi Haberman. Are we going to see Nick Robertson in the NHL this season? What do you guys think?
That's a really good question.
Let's focus on getting him in the AHL this season, because how many games has he even played? He's played 2. Remember, he broke his leg, I believe.
Yeah.
Early in the season, 2 assists in 2 games, and that's
yeah.
it. So are we like he's had such a messed up development.
Mm-hmm.
Leave him.
Yeah.
Let him stay on the Marlies. Leave him. The Leafs' problem is not up front. They're fine. Leave him. Let him get his feet under him in the AHL. Let him hopefully tear the AHL up.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go.
I think, too, people were like getting on him about his skating in the preseason. I thought, man, didn't he just come off a pretty bad knee injury? So I think, he went
horrible
off
luck.
Knee injury, bad knee injury. It happened in the first 6 games of last season. And then breaks his leg this year. Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to need some time to redevelop the legs. Fair?
The Leafs have had some pretty terrible luck with their top prospects. Rodion Amirov has only played 10 games in the KHL this year. One, because coaches hate playing young players over there, and also he got injured.
Mm-hmm.
Other guys have come to the forefront. Like Topi Niemela looks ridiculous. He almost made the Finnish Olympic team. Pontus Holmberg made the Swedish team. A lot of Leaf fans are probably like, cool, I'm going to pretend to know who that is.
Tomorrow, by the way, Team Canada and Team USA's rosters come out for the Olympics.
Cool. I'm excited. I hope Josh Hosang's on there.
Mm-hmm. Eric Stahl's going to be on it.
Is he actually for sure?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They mentioned that on
Hosang
Saturday night.
he got a concussion from a bad hit in the AHL.
Come on.
Which is, yeah. So, yeah, it feels like every time you're like, what about Fun Thing? I'm like, Fun Thing has a concussion.
Yeah.
Fun Thing has a broken leg.
Well, we'll see what the rosters are tomorrow. That'll be really exciting.
Next question comes from Wes Perniak. Who is a player you wish the Leafs didn't trade? So you get to go back and pick any player, any move that the Leafs made. You get to undo it.
That's every show we've ever done.
Yeah. Dating back to when?
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's say the 2000s.
Like 2000, year 2000?
Yeah, year 2000. This century, you get to undo one Leafs trade. What Leafs trade are you undoing?
This is easy.
Tuukka Rask. Would anyone like to submit a wrong answer?
Oh.
Yeah, no, he's right.
That's the one? That's
Yes,
it?
That's the answer.
1,000%. He's a goalie and he's probably going to go in the Hall of Fame.
That would have changed the trajectory of the franchise.
100%. Because who knows? They might have ruined him, but they didn't have a goalie for years and years and years. And having Rask potentially it definitely undoes the Raycroft trade.
Mm-hmm.
It potentially undoes the Toskala trade, which was terrible, which would undo having to use a 65-year-old J.S. Jaguar, which probably leads to not having to use Jonas Gustafsson. Like the butterfly effect spanning God knows how long by simply not making that trade.
Yeah.
Is pretty wild. What a dog shit piece of shit trade.
Here's one from Awesome-tastic Matt on Instagram.
Damn.
I'm going to be a first-time father in a few months. What's your one parenting pro tip? Adam Wild, Steve Dangle as fathers.
Kick
what
it
do you
off,
got?
Steve, since you're the one dealing with the sickness.
Sure. Well, fuck. I'm lucky Leo's with the in-laws. We could not raise a child today. Holy shit. Like, we could barely raise ourselves out of bed. But you're not prepared. And that's okay.
I like that.
The worst thing I did was I read a couple dad books and I was like, look at me being a good boy. I know what I'm doing. And Leo was in our house for about 2 days and I went, oh, fuck. I don't know shit. I don't know a goddamn thing. Nothing prepares you for the sleep deprivation. Just know that it doesn't last forever.
Yeah. It was enough that I never wanted to have another child again, though. I'm not kidding. Are you
I know.
kidding me?
It's not worth it.
It wasn't for me. I was like, one's enough, thanks. I got a great kid. I love her, but boy, did it take forever to get Everly to sleep a whole night. I think it was 8 or 9 months. And I thought, okay, I think I'm good.
Yeah. Leo is the absolute light of my life. But listen, I get it.
You know what? And I understood. My mom said the same thing to me. She was like, yeah, after you, I was, she's like, I always thought I wanted 2 kids. And then I had a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, that was enough.
Oh, God.
That's all I needed. And it's true. Love it. And you know what? I got to tell you, here's my dad advice. They get to be super fun. Like they're always fun and you always love them, but they get to be fun in like a reciprocal way right around the age of 1. And then from there, it's like this steep, awesome curve of awesome. They are so much fun when they start to understand you, even if they can't talk. And now, like, I can have a conversation with my daughter. Now, it's not that deep. Like if I call her, she tells me about 3 different things in one sentence because she doesn't know. She's so excited she doesn't know how to get it all out. But boy, there, when I love doing this, I love sneaking around in the hall, like in our house. And if she comes walking by, I go boo, and then she goes and then she goes silly daddy, and that's it. It's like that's my favorite thing. So you have all those amazing moments and a little sleep deprivation beforehand.
Yeah,
right?
There's the cry potato phase is hard.
The cry potato phase is really hard.
Where they're just a cry potato.
Yeah,
and like you're not supposed to talk about kids that way, but there's no give and take. They just cry and are a potato.
Yeah.
For several months.
And for some people, not. For some people, their kids go home and they go to sleep right away. Knowing Jesse, if he ever has kids, I know it'll be like, Jesse's kid will just go right to sleep and be like, I'm fine. I can sleep a full 8 hours. No big deal. But I
oh my God. Look at little Jesse Jr.
With the peace sign over his face. Yeah, I think it's okay to admit that you don't have to enjoy everything about parenting. You love them.
Yeah.
But I didn't enjoy the first 6 months. There it is. I said it.
Yeah. There's no give or take. And it hurt my feelings. I'm not going to lie. It's a silly thing to say, but it hurt my feelings. Because I pictured being a dad to be a certain thing. And no one pictures the worst part, which is the part where the kid just screams at you and doesn't play games.
Are they hungry? Are they tired? Do they have gas? Sort of those right things.
Steve, can you stomach one quick question? One more?
Please don't say stomach. Yes.
This is from @RyanJames8 on Instagram. What's the most dangerous zoo animal you could fight?
Like, and fight and win?
Yeah. If you had to fight the most dangerous one that you would be able to win from your days at the zoo. Who you beating up?
I got news for a lot of people. You could not beat up almost every animal in the zoo. Almost all of them, through millions of years of evolution, have something that will fuck you up.
Also, there's a weird infatuation I feel like people have with fighting animals.
Yeah, like first of all, like okay,
like exotic animals.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's like people like you ever see that old show where people raced animals?
No.
And it's like, well, okay, so they had these. They had sprinters race like a giraffe or something like that. You can find it on YouTube. I'm serious.
Yo, what a great show. I'd so watch that. Can we bring that to SDPN?
or like an ostrich.
Olympian? Wasn't it like Ben Johnson who raced a horse?
Really?
Yeah, like the Rogers Center or something.
Can we do
Steve
Steve versus animals?
Yeah.
On a YouTube exclusive.
But every time I watched it, I'm like, okay, yeah, the sprinter did really well, but that animal does not know it's in a race.
Right.
That's true. That's very true.
You told it to run, but like they don't know what the end goal is. If they knew what a race was, they'd probably win. But anything with claws, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So like, I could take a wolf. No. Or anything bigger than you, automatically no. Like almost nothing. Even like the little monkeys in the zoo, like a macaque, like if you were to take on one, they're used to being little and having to fend off bigger things.
Adam and I went to
bite your neck.
Primate Sanctuary many years ago to go see the IKEA monkey.
Yes.
And there was a section of the Primate Sanctuary where the keepers there, told us, do not make eye contact with these monkeys.
No, you can't.
They will destroy you if you look them in the eye. Avoid it at all costs. Probably don't even walk in that room because they're so powerful. And it wasn't even like these giant apes or whatever you're picturing. It was these little tiny guys, but they're so dangerous you can't look them in the eye.
And they say to women, like, pull your hair back. If you have long hair, pull it back because they will pull on it.
Tie it up.
They do not care. And like, man, the thing that really struck me about that was all of them were former pets.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. Right? Darwin, the IKEA monkey, was a former pet. Mm-hmm. And these are very definitely not pets. Mm-hmm. Like, these are wild fucking animals. And they talked about, like, the crazy damage that it did. Because a lot of those, to have them be that young, they take them away from their moms too early.
Yep. So
they can't go back to the wild. They can't function, and they've got psychological damage. It's fucking
they have
crazy.
to live out their days in the sanctuary because people just kept them in their homes.
It was
these dangerous wild animals.
Man, those people who were taking care of them did God's work, man.
Yeah,
that was intense. You imagine that every day you go to work and it's like basically a volunteer position, right?
And it's a not-for-profit. They have to raise money to sustain their business,
and every little thing in there could kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
and probably wants to.
To be honest.
Like, I honestly, it's bananas. I don't know. So
sorry,
I didn't mean to do that.
Let me lighten it up a little bit. You know the girl from the Saw the Monkey meme? There's a redheaded woman and she's talking about the IKEA monkey on the news, and there's a little banner under her that just says Saw the Monkey.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that.
No, here, just type it in. Like, type in Saw the Monkey.
You're talking about like a 2008 meme, Steve.
Yeah, well, 2008.
2013.
That's when well, anyway. I was like, hey, I know her. So she was like potentially the most famous person I know because, we went to Ryerson together. And I remember being like, hey, you're on everyone's computer in the entire world, right?
She saw the monkey. Oh,
Bronwyn?
Bronwyn. Yeah, I think she took the picture too of this tiny little monkey in a brown jacket.
Oh, she did the IKEA, the very famous IKEA picture of the IKEA.
Well, because she showed up to IKEA one day and was like,
saw the monkey.
Fuck?
that is quite funny.
All right, this was worth it.
All right, hey,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. You're right.
Approval.
God bless him. He's fighting a sword fight with one arm tied behind his back right now. Steve, you are a real trooper today, man. Thank you for doing this show. I know it was actually, if you don't know this, it was up in the air whether Steve would be able to do this or not. So, like, Steve, I just want to say, as your friends, we love you and thank you for even trying to do this.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
That's all you got.
Love you guys.
We're going to wrap it up there. Compliments make Steve uncomfortable. We will see you. Remember to look out for the Knoxy Kax show this Thursday on SDPN Sports. And of course, if you want to read the press release, because we put one out and so did the PWHPA, it's on our social media right now. You can follow us at SDPN Sports and at PWHPA.
Our show needs more clapping.
More clapping. Clap us out, Steve. We'll do it live.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection.